Hello, this is Danny from Danny Design Studio, and we're starting off with March Class in a Box. So this month we have a matching card and a clutch bag and another card, two other cards basically. So this has come from the beautiful, is it Fancy Flora? Yes, Fancy Flora suite in the mini catalogue. So we're using this die and the Something Fancy bundle. If you bought this, you would get the class for free. So some of you did, and we're using these dies and some of these lovely phrases here. This is in your kit and all these gorgeous papers, and I've included some of the papers that match in this as well. So let's just put this to one side for the moment. I want to show you, it's all about ribbon this month, and ribbon you can use for loads of different ways and techniques of using your ribbon on your card designs. Now I've got a few little things to show you. You could use ribbon, this is just a piece of card, whatever you use for your sentiment, and then you could just put it behind your sentiment, cut it at diagonals just for a bit of texture. That's one way, a simple way to use ribbon. This is another way that you can just sort of cross it over and put it behind, and I've seen designers use that as well. That's another way. You could simply knot it. I'm using the same sort of ribbon so that you can see how what it looks like on the card. So just knot it, and that gives you another form of sort of texture on your card. You've got this design, which if you've got a thick ribbon, another way of using that ribbon is sort of having this little effect underneath the sentiment. Now I would have cut it a bit longer and put that underneath, so it's got a little sort of frill, and the frill is made with sticking on the underside of this card sentiment. I put a little bit of two-sided sticky tape and then put that on, and then stuck it into place again, and then put that on dimensionals. So that's using sort of your thick ribbon. Now the other thing is with this lovely ribbon is that you can actually stamp onto it if you use your StazOn, or you could use other inks. You could stamp a design onto here with your thick ribbon. So that's another way of using ribbon on your card. And then there's this way. You've got two different types of paper. That's just one is this, just the underside of the other, and I've put it onto my card front, separated it with a thick ribbon, and I've also added another ribbon just to give it another effect. So different ways of using ribbon for texture on your card. And I just wanted to show you one more thing, and that is how to tie a ribbon if you were wrapping a present. So there's lots of different ways, and one of the ways that I find the easiest is to get a long piece of ribbon and pretend that is your present, or a bit of card if you wanted to have a card front look like this. So I'm going to take a long piece like this, probably another width of the block and a bit more, pop it onto my block, then wrap it round as you would a present. I need a bit more, that's it, and then tie it into a knot, And then with your 2 ties here, if you sort of lock it into position, this little centre bit, with putting your ties up and down instead of sideways, that helps the ribbon sort of be in the position that you want to end up in. So then I'm going to put my finger on there and pull it quite taut. I'm going to make a little loop, and then with this one, usually I would put it round that way, but I'm going to put it round the other way, which also helps you with the direction of the bow. You want to finish up with a certain direction. So then I'm going to loop it through that loop I've created, and then pull both the bow ends, and then if you pull it and just adjust like that, and then you've got the bows that upright and the little tails in the right sort of position at the bottom. Then you would cut, and that is another way of tying your ribbon. So let us have a look at what is in your box. I've wrapped it a little bit differently. Now in your class in a box, you will get a piece of white card. That's for all your inserts. You've got 4. You've got loads of this lovely paper. You've got 12 sheets in total. That's a quarter of a pack. Because I didn't know which colours you wanted, and I've given you a whole load of colours that are in this paper pack. So on the back of the sheet, you'll see all the different colours. I haven't got all of them, but I've given you as many as I could of what I've got. So you can decide, when you do card 3, you can decide what colours you want. You've got plenty more to do lots of cards, but obviously you haven't got the die cuts. Then you've got this beautiful lace card front and a few die cuts. You've got quite a few spare bits. That's in one paper pack. The other paper pack, you've got some ribbon. You've also got your little gems, and then you've got 3 envelopes, and then you've got another bigger pack that will carry your clutch bag and your card. So we're going to start with that. So the card is this sort of first card here. Now you'll have all different colours, but whatever colour you've got, it will match your bag colour. Okay, so I've given you blue, you'll have a matching blue colour bag. So this is the design of the card. What you've got in your pack is a 10th style fold card. This is your DSP that you're going to put inside. Now you could write on this, or you could do a little white insert as well. If it's light enough to write on and it's quite plain, then you might want to just do that. You then got another one for the front, and then what I'm going to do is turn to my pack of die cuts, take this one out, and I'm going to stick that on the top. So you can see little areas that are bigger like this. I'm going to put some glue on there and there. I want it really tiny little dots because you don't want it to just come out the sides and ruin your cards. So randomly just dot it around the place, but you need enough to stick it, but you just need to be able to Also control your glue so you don't get a lot of it everywhere. So just pick it up carefully and then pop it on your card, your DSP, and then it comes off. There we go. So pretty this is. And there are some bits that may have not quite come out. You just need a picky tool. There we go. So that's going to stick onto my card front, so it doesn't matter that I've got a bit of glue around the edge. So I'm just going to stick that straight on. There we go. And that, it does all the work for you. It's so pretty. I'm just going to stick this in before I lose it. Put it down somewhere and lose it. And I think because this is quite a plain pattern, or it's a little pattern, I'm going to leave it like that. And then I want to do this little bow. Now I'm going to show you different ways of doing the tammy bow. Now the tammy bow is, let me get the ribbon. This is new ribbon. So the tammy bow was invented by Tammy. Tammy Wilson? Oh gosh, I can't remember the name now. She is an artisan design team. She's on the artisan design team, and she created this beautiful bows on her cards. Lots of frilly bows, loads of lovely ribbon. And she didn't call it the tammy bow, but the other artisan design team members actually gave it this name, the tammy bow. So, and I fell in love with it actually as well. So different types of ribbon. The sheer ribbon is really nice to use. With the other, obviously this ribbon is a different texture and it wouldn't hold its shape as well. So this ribbon is really good, and let me show you. Everything's fallen. This ribbon is really good. I'm going to show you how to do something with this ribbon as well. So if I'm right-handed, I'm going to use this to maneuver the bow, to make the bow. I'm going to use my left hand to hold the bow. Now I'm going to have my index finger up here. These two fingers I'm going to alternate by holding the middle bit of it. Now you're either going to love this or you're going to hate it, and I would say practice a few times if you like it, because it doesn't come straight away, but just do it slowly, enjoy it, go with the ribbon and see what you end up with. So I'm going to have quite a long tail because I can always cut it. So I'm going to hold it with my middle finger and my thumb. I'm going to create a loop at the top part, and then I'm going to create a loop at the bottom part. I'm going to hold it in the middle and then create another loop, and then that's on the top part, create another loop on the bottom part. I'm going to hold it between my middle finger and that ring finger. Now I've got two loops. I'm going to leave it like that, and then I'm going to, I've got too much ribbon here. I'm going to take this end and I'm going to go right round, and then I'm going to go under the loop. Right, let me do that again. Right, holding it between my middle finger and thumb. I'm going to go right round, and I'm going to go through the loop that I've created, if I can, and then bring it right through. Now I'm then going to switch my middle finger and my index finger, and I'm going to hold that loop, and I'm going to hold this loop, these two loops at the bottom together, and then I'm going to pull and keep pulling, and that is it. I've then got these two loops on either side. I've got a double bow like that. Now you can pull it until you get the little ties that you want. So I'm going to cut it there. So then I'm going to pop that on my card, and I think I want to do it this way. So I'm going to put that on with a couple of glue dots. Oops. Wherever I want it, put it there and there, and then I'm going to pop it in the middle. Well, I don't know where that came from. There we go, on there. Sort of put it at an angle, splay it out, and then I'll cut it down to the size I want in a minute. And then I have got a little happy birthday that I'm going to put across like that. So that is from the die cuts, and I've just put the happy birthday on there, and I'm going to put it across there with the dimensionals, and then splay it out a little bit more. So that is the full thickness, and with this card I've only got half the thickness. So it depends what you think, what you prefer. So now I'm going to show you how to do the bag. So this lovely bag. So where is it? There we go. So I have prepped your bag for you, and this is sort of what it looks like, minus the holes. So I'm actually going to put it on white card. This is the one I'll be using later, but you'll never sort of see where the creases are because it's quite busy, the paper. But I'll go back to it in a minute, but I'm going to show you on white card what it should look like. So what I've done, let's see what you can see. Right, so you can see just slightly where I have scored the paper. So it's 30 by 30. Then I've scored it on either side 6.5, turned it around and scored it 6.5. Then scored it 11.5, turned it around, and 11.5. So you've got those score lines here, and you can just about see it. Now what I'm going to do is crease those, so burnish those with my bone folder. I'm using this white so that you can see it a bit more clearly, but obviously the card is much harder to work with because it's thicker. So there we go. So that is what we have got. Now then what you want to do is you have got a little rectangle here. Now with this rectangle, you need a little ruler, and that measures 7 centimetres. So what you need to do between that score line and that score line is 7 centimetres. So you want to make a little mark in the middle at 3.5. And then you take your ruler to that angle at the top, diagonally to that score line, and bring it down to where your pencil mark is, and you will score. You'll then do that again on the other side. And this just helps the bag. I'll show you. This is this bit here, so it just helps the bag form its shape really. So again, this side you will measure at 3.5 and then score and score. So you're actually, it's going to go the other way. So you're going to bring that 6.5 centimetre side down, and you're going to make it sort of burnish it in the at that score line, that diagonal score line, like that. So you can see from there, and then again that side. If I did it on the paper, you wouldn't see this. It'd be very confusing. So, and then you do it on this side, and you're just helping it maneuver in. So when this comes up, and that will come up again, you're going to have your card, your bag, it's so hard to do it on card, I can't seem to do it, but this bit would come out, and I'll show you. I'll go back to the paper now to show you this other bit. This is very hard to manoeuvre the card, but basically you can see, and I've given you a little photo of it on the paper copy, so you can see. So let's go back to the paper because it's hard to manoeuvre that card. So now I've done my little triangle in the middle. Now I'm going to take my 6.5 centimetre side and pop it in, fold it in. So then I'm going to take this score line, and I want it to come out. So I'm going to put my finger in there, and then I'm going to try and manoeuvre this score line to that edge. So I'm going to move it and move it, and I'll just see what you're seeing so you can see how I'm doing this, so that you can see is flush to the side like that. And then once you're ready, you will burnish that corner. Okay, so I hope it's not too dark. Let's pull that back a bit. So that's one side. You then turn it around, and you'll be doing exactly the same. So you put your finger down there. With your right hand, I can use my tool to help me. Take this score line and bring it flush to the end like that, and then turn it round. See if you can see don't want the shadow to get in it. You can see that that's an angle, and then you'll burnish that, crease it really well. So you've done those two sides, now you're doing this side. So you'll bring that in and then take your finger, push it to that side and crease. And the same with the last side. So then what you're going to do is you're going to glue this bit, that bit and this bit. So take your glue and glue one side at a time, and then you're going to fold that over, and this one. This bit, oops, don't want it there. That bit, pop that on there, and this will then, your bag will then take shape. So you'll build it, bringing that out, and then folding these two bits together, and then you can pop these in because you've already scored them. You pop that in, and there we go. You then need to just put 2 holes at the top over there, and I would just, where your ribbon goes through, just cut it at a really sort of quite an acute angle, so that it's almost like a needle that can come through. So you'll just sort of put a knot in it, put another knot in it if you want, because you're then, you can tidy that up and cut it. Okay, so that is your little bag. You then want to take your die cuts and you want to get a little tag to put on it. So your little tag, let's put the glue lid on here. I'm going to put a little, I want the happy birthday, actually, let me have a look. So I just want to show you that sometimes our tags fit it really well, fit the sentiments really well, and sometimes I want a happy birthday on mine, but that is not going to fit unless you put it at an angle, and I don't want it to go like that. So I'm just going to put happy birthday on another card and then stick that to my tag. But in the meantime, I'm going to get rid of some of this white space by just blending with my blending brush. I've got a bit of the same colour that I've used the bag with, so that it just ties in a little bit more. I have done one earlier, and I put my little bow on it already. exactly the same way as I did with my double bow, but this, you can see, is a triple bow. So let's quickly do the triple bow. So it's the same thing again. This is your tail. I'm going to alternate between that finger and that finger to hold and pinch the middle. So I've got one loop at the top, another loop at the bottom, another loop at the top, another loop at the bottom, another loop at the top. This is my third loop, and another loop at the bottom. Now I've got my 3 loops at the top, 3 loops at the bottom. I'm going to take my end, go right round and under, and then I'm going to hold these 3 loops at the top with my index and middle finger, this lot of ribbon down here, and then I'm going to pull and pull and pull and keep pulling until it's tight enough. And that is how you get your 3 loops. And then when you're ready, you cut. So that's your 3 loop bow. Now another way, which might drive you absolutely crazy, is you can cut this in half. And then you've got a double loop. When you cut it in half, you've got a double loop, and then you've got another 2. Then basically you keep going until you get this spray of loops, because you've halved the width of the bow. I'm going to do that in another little video, but I'm not going to do that now. But if you're interested in that, I will repeat the same sort of thing in another separate video. Otherwise, that is what I'm going to use at the moment. Now this is what I've done with Happy Birthday. I've just put it across there. You can decorate your tag with other little flowers if you want to, but I've kept it simple for now. And then what I've done is I've just stuck it on with some dimensionals. I mean, if you wanted it as a tag, you can have it as a tag, and I would not stick it completely on so that you could write on it. So that is your first little project. So you're matching gift bag and card. So that's your first project, project 1 and 2. And now we'll move on to your card number 3, which is very similar. But what we've got here is the knot. So that is quite nice to do. I'll go back to everything that's fallen down here. So I think I wanted to use the greens. I thought that was really something different. I'm going to use another little gift tag. Oh, I've got to use the little gems as well. So I need fairly straightforward. I'm just going to stick that onto there. When the narrow bits come up, I'm just going to control that glue a bit more. So so I don't get splodges everywhere. So then stick that onto there. And that is going to go onto my card front. It's not sticking. There we go, stuck now. This needs a little bit more time. So then go back to my, what's in my pack of ribbon. Which I haven't got, and I don't know where it's gone. Put it somewhere, don't know where it is. I'll have to, let's have a look. Nope, does not want to come. So I'm just going to use another type of ribbon, but it's sort of similar. Strange. Anyway, just putting a knot in it, and then you can see what it looks like. And that's really all I need to do. You can see the difference between that ribbon and this ribbon. This is floppy and it's not got as big bigger knot in it. So it all depends on the type of ribbon you use, really. And certain ribbon is good for certain things, and it depends on what you like. You might quite like this sort of floppy look. I like it sort of a bit more upright and at the top a bit more, but that'll have to do for now, I think. So then I'm just going to get my little sentiment, and we can have, what should we have? Oh, I do a thank you. Always needing thank you cards, always. So I'm going to do either Just Jade or, not Just Jade, Soft Succulent or Evening Evergreen. I think Evening Evergreen is quite nice. And then I'm just going to put that at the top there. If I can find my dimensionals. Got some here, but not many. That will do. I'll find them in a minute. All right. So I could have done the little edging on there as well, and probably if I had more time I would have done, to be honest. And then you mustn't forget your little gems, which are just gorgeous. Take on a lovely sort of greenish hue there. Now with this white ribbon I've given you as well, I hope you know that you can colour it just going to show you with your stamping blend. This is dark mint macaron, and that's the green that I've got, probably closest to the green that I've got here. So if you colour it, you can change the colour of the white. And that will be permanent. And it's such a pretty colour, because that will go really well as well. And so I could have done my little tammy bow with this ribbon. So that's another way of putting your ribbon on as well. So that's your other third card, and then the fourth card, or the fourth project I should say, is this one. So we're creating a faux bow basically. So when we've got thick ribbon, wide ribbon, what do we do with it? I did show you a little example earlier, but our fourth little project here is this one. So I'm going to take the crumb cake, layer my card, and I've got this lovely paper here. Now with this paper, I would like to have most of the pattern in it, most of the painting and the flower in it. So I will cut this side. So I need to cut at 9.5 and 13.9, I think. I'm going to layer my card up like that. So pop the glue on. Now before I layer it onto my card base, card front, I'm going to get my 2 bits of ribbon. So this will, at some point, now remember where you're going to have your little sentiment, and I think I'll put mine on now. There it is, I found it. It's always got to be behind something or underneath something, I have discovered. It's either dropped on the floor, it's in the bin, it's underneath something, or I could have even put it back on the shelf. I'm going to pop that there. I've got a flower to go there, so that's why my thank you is to one side. So then I know where my sentiment is, so I'm going to put this sort of down there, and then I'm going to anchor it in position with some tape. Now this is not going to show, so it doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter because it's not going to show. But I need that because I want that to be looped in, to be pinched in with this one. So that goes underneath there. And if you don't like doing bows and you will never get the tammy bow, then you could use this. Pinch it in and then pop it to an angle and then cut. And once you're happy with that, then I've got another little flower that I'm going to pop there. So this is from the two-tone Flora that I've done a little Facebook Live on this, and it's a gorgeous stamp set. It's a 2-step stamp set where it goes over one of the stamps and creates a beautiful design. So that's going to go like that. So I'm just going to put my glue on this side. And then finish it off with these lovely red dots. And then that will go on my card front. And we have finished our 4th project. So let's show you what we have created. Just going to finish this off with some of these beautiful little shimmery things. So pretty, aren't they? There we go. So where was the other one that I did? There we go. So it was underneath something. So let's see what you can see. There we go. So we have finished our lovely cards and projects, and I hope you will enjoy this one. It won't beat you with all the lovely ribbon. So thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.